Well, this week I'm in the Okanagan Valley. I'm here with my buddy John with no H. And together we are going to hike the Okanagan Highlands trail and the Okanagan High Rim trail back to back. It's about 125 kilometers or about 75 miles. We're getting a really late start today. I think we're only going to hike in about 10 kilometers.
Turn right onto Chute Lake Road.
Well, we have had a big change of plans. So the original plan was to hike the Okanagan Highlands Trail and the High Rim Trail back to back. That fire up above Naramata and not far from our trailhead changed our plans because we got to Chute Lake Lodge to start the hike, parked the truck, and we were a little concerned about the wind, and we thought if the winds change, we're going to be out of cell phone service, we're going to be on the trail, we're not going to know anything. We obviously can't outrun a wildfire, so we're going to chop the hike in half. We're going to start here on Highway 33 at the start of the High Rim Trail. Big change in plans, but I think it's the smart thing to do, and let's go. It's going to be a hot one. It's forecast, I think, for 34 Celsius in Kelowna. And it's going to be cooler up here at elevation, but not a lot cooler. There's a view of Okanagan Lake in the distance. So this is Cardinal Creek and it is bone dry. We stopped about 500 meters back at a little creek, had lunch. It was nice. Ominous. So the question of the day: who's Pedro? So thanks to Tovani and Sons for doing the boardwalk in this area. It helps us from putting our feet in holes 4 feet deep. There was a sign back there, but I forgot to take a picture of it. A lot of the trail this afternoon is through the trees, which is nice because of the shade. It's probably 30 Celsius right now. And every once in a while, the trail spits out a bit of a view. So this all began with a vision from one gentleman. Here's our water stop for the afternoon, Dave's Creek. So we have arrived at our campsite. This is called Grand View, and it's called that for a reason. There's a view of Okanagan Lake in the distance and the valley. So this is camp for tonight. That's the eating area. We're just about to have dinner. And that's the view down to the lake. And I'll just take you over to the tenting area. I've got my tent set up and John has a tarp with his bivy sack. So that's where we are for tonight. The food hanging pole is up there, up in the trees, and there's actually an outhouse up the trail there. It's been a hot day. Fortunately, we were in the trees a lot, so there was quite a bit of shade. There was a nice breeze, but the breeze has died down quite a bit now. So we're gonna have dessert, and after a bit, I think we're gonna crawl in and call it a night. So we'll talk to you in the morning. Good morning, it's day 2, it's Sunday, and today we have, I think, about a 25 kilometer day. We're going to head for Hayhurst Lake. There's a couple of potential water sources just before that, so we'll see where we get to today. So these are our saviors, Jim and Chelsea from Calgary. So John and I got lost this morning for at least an hour. It seemed like 10. And then lo and behold, these guys come flying around the corner. So they stopped. We had a good long chat. They offered to drive us back to where we knew we were supposed to be. And we said, sure. So we've come up this road and we're going to continue walking now back to just above Scotty Creek and then continue north. So hopefully that'll be the right track. So guys, thanks again, Jim and Chelsea. You won't believe what a relief it is to see that sign. We haven't seen a distance marker in hours. We got absolutely lost for a while. Ended up walking down an FSR for way too long and then met this couple from Calgary who were driving up. So we hopped into their car and they got us back to where we knew the trail was. And then we tried again and we found it. So we're back on the trail heading north.
How was your day today?
I've had better. We got lost in the morning for, John and I figure, probably about 3 hours. We were aiming for Trail Workers Bridge at Vernon Creek, but we are camped in a meadow, but it'll work. It'll do for the night. We're just finishing dinner and we're going to drink a lot of water. And tomorrow we hope to go to, I believe it's Damer Lake for the night. And then Tuesday, day 4, we'll head out to my car at Cousins Bay parking lot. Well, good morning. It's day 3 and we're headed further north. We had a pretty good night's sleep at the meadow. Not too bad at all. Today we are aiming for Damer Lake and we'll see how far we get today. So we've come to another opening here. We came out of that stretch from the trees. We've come to this road. We've crossed roads dozens of times so far. And here's kind of another example of what we run into. There's really no visible signage or ribbons to go from, so we're going to have to look around here for a little bit. John and I have bear sprays on for this hike, and there's no grizzly bears in the Okanagan, but there are black bears and there are mountain lions or cougars, the 4-legged version, so we got to keep an eye out for those. And rattlesnakes too. Rattlesnakes on the first day and probably on the last day. Here at elevation we're basically walking through what seems like a rainforest, but tomorrow we'll get down towards the parking lot and more of a desert environment. So it can get toasty here, and rattlesnakes do live in this area. So this is more or less the halfway point, because the High Rim Trail is about 58 kilometers, a little more. So we are officially almost at halfway. Wonder where the name Wrinkly Face came from. I guess we'll find out. Here is admittedly one of the few views that we've had on the trail so far. So hopefully we'll get more as we head further north. We met some nice people back there, Dawn and Barb, and they're out day hiking here in Wrinkly Face Provincial Park. And Dawn was telling me that there are grizzly bears in the Okanagan, which I did not realize. Anyway, he's got a game cam set up near this trail, and he's got some neat photos from days past of other animals, so he's gonna send me some and I'll post them here in the video. So we have another view, few and far between, but we'll take it. And I think this is Wood Lake. So we're climbing up the monolith. This is a pretty steep stretch, so we're just taking a break here for a second.
We're up pretty high now, though.
When a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? Hi Bessie, how are ya? Atta girl, okay. It's all good, see you later. Well, we have arrived at our campsite for the night. It's been a long day, tiring. So we'll get camp set up and have happy hour. Yep, people are pigs. Well, it's near the end of a pretty long day. A good day. We're now at Damer Lake recreation site. A nice little spot. We're camped here by the lake and we've had dinner and we're just about to have dessert and then we'll call it a night. We have an early morning tomorrow. We're hiking out to the north end of the trail, back to my car, and then I'm going to take John back to his truck and then I'm going to head home. I have a 6-hour drive home. So we'll talk to you in the morning. Good morning, day 4. And it rained on us last night, a couple hours just after getting into the tents. I think you can tell where my tent was. And it's right beside the lake. It's a nice little spot. Just a reminder to campers, don't leave your crap in a campfire right beside a tent site. We're just finishing a quick breakfast and then we're going to hit the trail. I think we have about 15 kilometers to the northern trailhead. John and I are just off the trail, a couple hundred meters, and we are at the tower. We think this is a piece of communications equipment for the airport at Kelowna, and this is probably the best view of the trail. Looking north. There's a cliff right below us and a huge rock fall down there. Kalamalka Lake. It's one of the most beautiful lakes I think I've ever seen. Beautiful blue colors. Not as nice today because it's overcast. And that is the city of Vernon in the distance. So here's another example of temporarily getting lost. We've come out of this section, out of the trees. We've come to this clearing, and there are no visible signs, ribbons, anything. So we could go down. There's a faint trail there, but that can always be just a game trail. You never know. We could maybe find something through there, or go up and find something through there. Who knows? Okay, nice sign, but what exactly does that mean? Which trail do we go on? We're taking a short break for lunch. The rain pants have come off. We were walking through some wet undergrowth back there just when we started this morning. So they've come off. Now we're into rattlesnake country, so we gotta keep an eye out for those guys. We're about 6 kilometers from the end, so we're at about kilometer 52. Here's a little view as we get closer to the trailhead. This is Kalamelka Lake, and we are about 2 kilometers from the end of the trail. Well, that's another one in the books, and John, why don't you start?
Well, you know what? Maybe the best way is let's give it a grade. I like grades. 1 to 10 on view overall for the last 4 days. What would you give the trail?
Probably a 1.5.
I would give it probably a 2.25 out of 10.
Wow!
And maybe the best view was today from that tower that we walked by.
That was beautiful.
It was.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful.
And the grand view where we camped the
Yeah.
first night was really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. The quality of the trail signage, 1 to 10. What do you think? Okay, that you make me nervous. You're thinking a lot about that.
Well, I know there's a lot of effort put into maintaining a trail like this, and it's 58 kilometers, so there's a lot of distance. I mean, when you're talking 58,000 meters to maintain and to sign, what's really frustrating in my mind. Well, John, you keep going.
Well,
I'll talk in a minute.
Yeah, you know what? I would give it 5, but you know, I guess first thing is I wonder if the society is treating it as a wilderness trail, because if it is a wilderness trail, then I would give it probably an 8 or 9. But when you and I decided to do this, and the homework we did do, I did not believe it was a wilderness trail, so it should be fairly well signed. You know, the biggest challenges were walking out off a trail of a thick forest onto a Forest Service road or a rough track, and you have no way go straight, left, or right. And we would literally spend, you know, several minutes separating, looking to see if we can find a marker in the trees. So that was a little bit frustrating, for sure.
On day 2, above Scotty Creek, we lost 3 hours.
Easily. Yeah.
At least 3 hours, and that was really frustrating. That brought the trail down. In my mind, it brought it down a lot, and I still had 2 more days after that to hike it. John and I spent a week trail building with the Great Divide Trail Association about a month ago in an area between Yoho National Park and Banff National Park, and I learned a lot. And there's a thing called a reassurance marker, and that's basically a trail marker, and that's literally can be a ribbon, can be a sign, can be a triangle, anything. And the last 7 or 8 kilometers today, I saw virtually nothing as far as ribbons, as far as I did see the odd kilometer marker. That's the other thing. Some of these trail markers are just not put in obvious spots. Yeah. In my mind, I think they're put a little too high. Even 10 feet off the ground or 12 feet off the ground or further into the trees, so it's on a sturdy, long-standing tree, but it's not beside the trail and it's not obvious.
That's what really surprised me. 2 to 3 meters off the trail, there's trees in front, and you see a marker way behind, right? Yeah,
right. There is a lot of walking through trees, through forest. It seemed almost like a rainforest, which is kind of ironic because we're in the Okanagan region, which can get smoking hot, and it is arid. I mean, this is desert, and so it was kind of ironic to walk through that kind of a environment. Saying that, it was nice. It was nice. It was different. There's also not a lot of flat trail on this trail. Yeah. You are either going up or you're going down. I'm not complaining. I'm just a little surprised. I thought there would be some flatter stretches. I thought there would be some more open stretches. There really weren't many open stretches.
No, there wasn't. And one comment about water. This past winter was a high snowpack year. Though this spring, summer has been borderline drought here in the Okanagan. And water, you really need to pay attention to your water, because some of the streams which we thought would have water would have no water. So you really have to pay attention end of July with the water on this trail.
Yeah, we debated about hiking this trail in late May, and admittedly that would have been, I think, a little early. There could have been snow. So if it's anybody's fault, it's our fault that we chose late July. but it was the only time of the year for either of us that would fit, and that's why we did it. So, John, thanks for hiking with me, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you saw. Thanks. The original plan was to hike the Okanagan Highlands Trail and the High Rim Trail back to back, 6 days, about 130 kilometers. So about